In this problem, we're asked to graph a polar coordinate, and we're going to graph this point, -8, 4 pi. In this point, r, or the radius, is -8, and theta, the angle, is 4 pi. So I'm first going to just bring up a Desmo screen here, just so that I can use this polar grid to demonstrate how we can go about the mechanics of graphing this polar coordinate. I like to start with the polar axis, which is the same as the positive side of the x-axis if this were the xy coordinate plane. But if I'm going to graph a radius of, let's say, +8 first, that means I would come along this polar, the positive side here, and I would first put my point for the radius where that lands along that axis. And then I would open it up in the direction of theta. I would open it this way if theta is positive, and I would open it this way if theta was negative. But for this problem, r is negative. So that means I need to go the opposite direction and plot -8 over here, opposite of that polar axis. And then next, I'm going to open this angle theta up 4 pi radians. All right, so I'm going to try to roughly draw this here. So that means I'm moving along, opening 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, and 4 pi. And notice I end up right where I started, which is this point on the polar coordinate plane. And when I go back and I look at my answer choices, the correct point would be here in choice B. If I move down to the other questions being asked, I'm basically going to now rewrite this point with different r or theta values. In part A, I'm asked to rewrite the same point with an r that is positive and a theta that's between -2 pi and 0. So remember, this is where the point is at, and we want an r that is positive. So really, if r was positive, we would first have started over here. And if I want a theta that's negative, then I need to open in this direction. And if I go all the way around, if I keep going here, I have just moved theta, or opened theta as -pi units. That brings this point of +8 now over here to this side of the polar grid. So that would be +8, -pi. And you can see +8, -pi meets that condition. For parts B and C, you're asked to do something similar here, but just watch that r is the correct sign, either negative in this case or positive in this case, and that theta meets its condition. So like in part B, theta has to be between 0 and 2 pi, but for part C, it has to be between 2 pi and 4 pi.